Site Recovery. You might have worked on business continuity and disaster recovery, right?
Yes.
So on-premise and Azure also works in same way. Like you will have two different regions where one goes down and we bring up the resources from the second region. So Azure Site Recovery is one of the service from Azure where we try to bring up the workloads and everything using them in the secondary region. Basically, it helps the organization to adopt a business continuity and disaster recovery strategy that keeps our data safe, apps, workloads online. So whether it can be a planned or unplanned outage. Azure Site Recovery contributes to our BCDR strategy. BCDR means Business Continuity Disaster Recovery Strategy. Okay, there are two points here in this. One is the site recovery service. So the site recovery service helps ensure business continuity by keeping business apps and workloads running during outages. Site recovery replicates workloads running on physical and virtual machines from a primary site to a secondary location, which we just now discussed. When an outage occurs at primary site, the failover to a secondary location and access to the apps will be happening from the secondary region. After the primary location is uh, you know starts running again, will fail back to the primary region. That's how the site recovery service works. The backup service is the second point over this Azure recovery services. The Azure backup services keeps your data safe and recoverable. So there will be one lab will be creating a recovery service vault and a backup service. We'll be seeing these things in detail there. How we will configure from primary to secondary, how we will failover, test the test failover, all these things we can check in the Azure lab. Next is site recovery can manage replication only for few of the resources, not all. The resources are like Azure VMs replicating between Azure regions, replication from Azure extended zones to the region. That means there are zones and POPs and everything, right? So replication from extended zones to the regions can be done using site recovery. On-premise VMs, Azure Stack VMs, and physical servers also can be recovered using site recovery services on Azure. RTO and RPO. Have you heard about RTO and RPO?
Yes, uh, I heard. Yes.
Okay. So you do the DRs and all, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
some what you call DR drills.
Yeah. DR drills, failover testing, DR drills.
Okay. Generally, they do it quarterly or half yearly. I don't know how it works in your organization. Is it a yearly or
No, no, quarterly. So every 90 days, we
hmm,
shift the workloads from primary to secondary.
primary to
So
secondary?
to make sure everything is up and running.
Okay. So
Yeah,
generally
we'll
in
have all
December
this setup.
month we
Yeah.
do, right? Or how it is? Business is more, and it depends on business to business, right? They may not do
There
it
won't
in
be
December.
much interaction or much workloads happen when we move things. It will switch over in overnight, right? So there won't be much business involved or something. Everything would be in the same infrastructure side. So there won't be any downtime or we don't see any latencies or anything like that.
Hmm.
So every 90 days we switch over. It's a default change. So we switch over the load balances and move the resources. If we see anything on the next day, then we'll move them back on the next day itself. But most of the time, it will be 90 days staying there.
Okay. So when you fail over from primary to secondary, you are running your services from secondary for one day.
No, no, next 90 days going to be on the secondary only.
Okay, next 90 days on secondary. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Generally, we used to do the DR drills every quarterly, and it's like as part of the drill, we used to keep that on Saturday for 4 hours, early morning, 7 or 8. We used to plan on Saturday. It is like night in USA. So 4 hours. In that, we used to do the failover and also failback. That is primary to secondary. And the teams testers will test the scenarios, do some basic smoke tests, and they will fail back to the primary again. So that's how we used to do. Uh, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, usually that depends on the client and that depends on the this again, right? So
Makes
here,
sense.
whatever the companies I worked, we do the active sync. That's why we keep them everything on the other side.
Okay. Okay. RTO and RPO terms, right? RTO means recovery time objective. RPO is a recovery point objective. So I came across these interview questions. They asked what is RTO and RPO. So let's see what is RTO, recovery time objective. What it says, RTO full form is recovery time objective. So what it is, time it takes to restore service after an outage. How quickly must we recover? If RTO is 2 hours, your system must be back up within 2 hours after failure. That means the primary region is down and you are able to recover the workloads and your application in the secondary region within next 2 hours. So that is the time you are taking to bring back your application when the primary is down. RTO means that recovery time objective. So recovery time, how much recovery time you are taking, that is the RTO. Next is RPO, recovery point objective. Here, data loss tolerance in terms of time, how much data can be afford to lose. If RPO is 30 minutes, you can afford to lose maximum 30 minutes of data. For example, let's take the primary region is East US and secondary is West Europe. That is like, let's take you are in Boston, right? So one data center is in Boston and the second data center is in London. Your application is running in Boston because most of the customers are in Boston. And what is happening? You have set up a DR. That means whatever the workloads which are running in VMs, they are in the backend in the Microsoft backend network. What is happening? There is a continuous replication happening from Boston to London, and suddenly Boston has gone down. The data center has gone down, like 10 a.m. in the morning on Sunday, and you are able to recover by 12 in the noon, and 10 a.m. it has gone down, and we say I have recovered the data for 10 a.m. So it won't be like that. Sometimes it's like you may miss some time there, like 30 minutes of data is you have missed. Like till 9:30 you are able to recover, not till 10 a.m. So that is what is the RPO. Like how much data you have lost. Those 30 minutes of data you have lost, but because that 30 minutes of data was in the transition, like it is getting copied from the primary region to secondary region, there is still some data which is still lying in Boston which is not replicated to the secondary region. So that data we lost. So how much data we lost is calculated in terms of time. 30 minutes of data you have lost. So that is our recovery point objective.
Recovery
did i
point. Yeah.
did you understand? Were you able to catch what I was trying to say for our?
Yeah. I completely got your point.
Okay.
Yeah, the recovery point, which when the site is down, what is the latest backup point? There only, till there only we can recover. The meantime, in 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever gonna be, there gonna be a loss
That is
of
a
data.
loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a recovery point objective.
Got
Or
it.
yeah. So organization defines limits for RTO, how fast to recover, recovery time objective, 2 hours, what we have just seen in example, and RPO is how much data loss allowed. Azure Site Recovery, ASR, helps meet these goals by offering continuous replication for Azure VMs and VMware VMs, providing 30-second replication frequency for Hyper-V, so RPO can be as low as 30 seconds. So recovery point objective is like 30 seconds difference. That's all. So till that point, ASR can provide the, that kind of service ASR can provide. You can reduce RTO, recovery time objective, even further by integrating with Azure Traffic Manager, which helps redirecting traffic quickly during failover. So if the failover has happened, we are trying to bring up the services from secondary region. Here, Azure says use Azure Traffic Manager so that the service will be up very quickly. So that's the
Got it.
point. Let's see the lab. Okay, so I have opened and the link is here. So in this lab, we'll learn backup and recovery of Azure virtual machines. You learn to create a recovery service vault. We'll create a recovery service vault and a backup policy for Azure virtual machines. You learn about disaster recovery using Azure Site Recovery. They call it ASR. Okay, and we are creating a East US and West US region. So this will be between two regions. This is the architecture diagram. There are four tasks here. The first task is we'll create a VM here. And the second task is we'll create a RSV, that is a recovery service vault. We'll configure the recovery service vault. Then we'll configure Azure backups for this VM. And we'll put the monitoring on this one so that it gets replicated to RSV, that is a recovery service vault in region 2. So that is a task 5. The first thing first, so we'll create a VM. So here we are using a template. We can create VMs using templates as well. There is one template which I will share this link here in the chat. You can go through this, or else it is already there in this here. This is the link you can use, and you need to download. So once you click on home, download here. So you can download the content here. So why we need this content is once you download, you will be able to see all files and lab 10. And inside that, you will see one template which is already there. It will be like this. All files, labs. Then this is the template. Okay. And so we need that file to um, spin a VM. I'll go to the first thing is it says to use, we'll deploy a custom template. So this is one option in Azure. In the global search, just put this. You see, deploy a custom template. Once you click on that, you get an option, build your own template in the editor. Select that, then load file. Go to your file. This is the file and select. This is now selected. Click on save. So this is a custom template and I will create a resource group. I will say techlines-rg. Click OK. West US. Instead of West US, I want to choose Central US. The reason is somehow some of the resources I am unable to create in East US for my subscription. I'll use Central US then West US. Admin user, I'll say password. VM prefix I will keep as it is. Virtual machine, NSE, everything as it is. Then I'll click next. Basically, in task one, we are just trying to create a VM, but here the approach is a little different using the custom template. So we have created a VM. The next step is create and configure a recovery service vault. So go ahead and try to open a open recovery service vault. So this gets deployed. Meanwhile, we can create recovery service vault. So in the global search, put recovery service vault and you see the service recovery service vaults and click on create. I'll select Techlines RG and I will give this is Techlines Central US RSV recovery service vault. Preview plus create. So we just went ahead and created the recovery service vault. Then after that, it says once you create this, go to the resource settings, properties, update backup configuration, storage replication type, geo redundant. So these all settings we need to check. So once this is ready, I will show you. So we have this backup vaults or something like that, right? On premise, in on premise.
Yes.
Okay, so there we can see some scheduled jobs running, right?
Yeah.
Backup for VMs and everything. There is a backup tool, right? Do you know any backup tool generally?
Yeah, Veeam backup and replication, I know. And cohesity.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it
the
work.
Veeam usually is the backup tool currently in most of the companies they use.
Okay. And we see once we configure the backups for VMs and everything, we see the jobs running, right? Status and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, the scheduled jobs and what's the latest backup, what all the jobs were running and all stuff. Yes, we can
Okay.
see them on console.
Okay. And will there be any retention policies configured there? Any idea?
Retention, we usually keep them to the tape libraries. So the tape libraries will be there like 10 years on offsite.
Mm,
On the Azure blob and the storage side, we'll have past 7 years, I think.
okay. Here, so it works in same way, like we can see the backup jobs and all. So some settings are there. Once we create this recovery service vault, we will get to see some options. So here in this lab, he says go and check backup configuration blade. So first let's see backup configuration blade. Where is this backup configuration blade? Okay, let me check under properties. Not this one. Backup, alert, site recovery, properties. So here we can see some backup configurations in the properties. Okay, once we click on update, so this is a backup configurations. Every backup configuration we can see here. It says a storage replication is geo-redundant. So as we seen earlier, geo-redundant is it can replicate between two different regions. So we are not going to change anything. If we want to change that to a local redundant, then the replication will stay within the region. Zonal means between the two regions, two zones in the same region. So we don't want to change anything. We keep as it is geo redundant. Then click apply. The next thing it says, select the update link under backup configuration. On backup configuration blade, review the choices of storage replication type. Leave the default setting of geo redundant, which we just did, in place and close the blade. Note, the setting can be configured only if there are no existing backup items. So if there are any backup items already configured, you cannot change this because you have configured a geo redundant for one VM. Then you are changing it back to local redundant. So the configuration change, it will not happen to the existing VM. So there it gets blocked. So it won't allow us to do the changes. That's the reason. And next point is select the update link under security settings, soft delete and security settings. Okay, security settings, soft delete settings. Have you heard about soft delete?
Yes. So soft delete is means when once we delete it, it will be in recycle bin for some particular days. If we want to restore, we can do it straight away instead of taking back from the backup.
Exactly. So it works in the same way. It says soft delete retention period for cloud and hybrid days, 14 days. This is the number of days for which deleted data is retained before being permanently deleted. Retention period till 14 days is a free of cost. However, retention beyond 14 days may incur additional charge. So till 14 days, it is free. But if you are putting more than 14 days, like I want to put this for 90 days, like there will be charges. So I'll change it back to 14 days. And I'll close this one. We just wanted to check what is the retention period. So on the security setting blade, note the soft delete for workload running in Azure is enabled. Notice the soft delete retention is 14 days. So with this, we have completed task two. So it says Azure has two types of vaults, recovery service vault and backup vaults. The main difference is the data sources that can be backed up. So the main difference is that. And task three is configuring Azure virtual machine level backup. So on the recovery service vault, click on overview plus backup, backup goal. And we need to select the VM, select backup policy. So let's see this one. So it says go to backup and we see workloads. I'll say, where is your workload running? It is on Azure. What do you want to backup? Virtual machine. You remember, right? In the beginning, in the task one, we created one VM. So now we will try to take a backup of that. Okay, policy subtypes. There are two types available. Either you can choose enhanced and the other one is standard. So enhanced that has a backup per day. It does a backup, multiple backups per day, and the retention period is up to 30 days. And support for trusted launch Azure VM, support for VMs with ultra disk and premium SSD. We'll take the standard one. It is only once a day and up to 5 days operation. 5 days is the retention period. I'll say default policy. This is the default policy. If you want to create, we can also create a new policy. So what options we have in the policies? So basically, this policy will help us to configure the backup at what time you want to do the backup. Now that we selected standard, we can do only once a day. We can schedule the time here, like I want to do it at midnight. So, and time zone you can change, like Eastern time zone, EST. So that means in EST, I think Boston comes under EST, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So in the midnight at 2 o'clock, it will run this policy. As part of this policy, it will do the backup and retention daily backup point for 30 days. So we leave everything as it is and click OK. And we need to add the VM here for which we want to take the backup. We have one VM. So select that and click OK. So on this VM, now the policy will run every midnight and it will take the backup and enable backup. We'll go back to the lab guide. Let's see. So we created a policy name we have given, and we changed the time. We kept everything as it is. Click on OK. So we have selected the VM and we clicked on OK. In the protected items section, click backup items and then click the Azure virtual machine entry and view details. Okay, we'll do that. Go back. This is being still running. Then recovery service vault, protected items. So once we have enabled backup or enabled the recovery um, for the VMs, right? Those VMs we can see under backup items or replicated items. So here is the list. We can see Azure virtual machines, how many we have configured. One we have configured. And similarly, we have other things also, backup agents, backup servers, DPM, storage, SQL databases, and all. Here we can see one because we just now configured for one virtual machine. Once I click on that, it is navigating me to the list. Okay. Here we can see what is the current state, whether it is backed up, when is the last backup status, and everything we can see here. The name of the VM is this. Backup recheck, it has passed. Last backup status, initial backup is not done. Let's see if we can run the backup now for this. So once I click on more details, it shows details of the VM and the policy details and everything. And the last backup status also we can see. Now that this is not backed up as of now, it is not showing the latest backup details here. Now I'll click on backup now, retain backup till. So this is, so I just clicked on backup. So it is running the backup now for this VM. So once backup is completed, this status will change, and also we'll see the uh, latest backup details. We'll go back to the lab manual, then yeah, select the view details, backup pre-checks, and last backup status entries. Select backup now, accept the default value in retain backup till now, drop down list, and click OK. So that's what we just did. How do we monitor Azure backups? So we need to create one Azure storage account first. Then we need to use that Azure storage account for uh, you know capturing logs and metrics of this Azure virtual machine to that storage account. So let's configure the monitoring part for the backup. The first thing is it has triggered the backup. It is running now. I'll go back to storage account. So I am creating storage account just to keep all the logs and everything over here. And I will put, this is a central US and preferred storage type. Okay, I'll keep everything as it is. Review plus create. Click on create. So now it is creating a storage account. Let's come back to the manual and let's see what are the next step. So it is asking us to create the storage account, search and select your recovery service vault. So we have created a recovery service vault. It is asking us to go to the monitoring and diagnostic settings, add diagnostic settings. Yeah, I'll go to the recovery service vault. This is the vault which we created for primary region, and it says go to monitoring, the diagnostic settings, add diagnostic settings, give this name of the settings is this. Few of the things we should be selecting here so that we can monitor and understand when is the backup happening, how it is running, all the monitoring logs we can capture related to that. The first thing is I want to select backup reporting data, and anything related to Azure Site Recovery jobs. There is a policy which is running, events if something goes wrong, replicated items, replicated status, recovery point, all these details I want. And so these are the sources. And destination is I want to archive these all the data logs into a storage account. So I selected the second one, Azure Storage Account. You can also save them to Log Analytical Workspace or Event Hub, but we have selected this one. This is the recommended one of the recommended way. Okay, and the storage account, I will select the one which I just created, and let's save. So as part of this task, what we have done, we have we want to set up the monitoring part. For monitoring setup, we need a space where we can save the logs. So we want to save the logs. What logs we want to save? That configuration we have done from the diagnostic settings of Azure Recovery Service Vault. What kind of logs we want to set up, that settings we have configured just now. And for saving these logs to a location, we have created a storage account just before.
Got it.
So it says the same thing. So now, so once the monitoring is set up, now it's time for us to configure the replication for Azure Virtual Machine. Just now I have created recovery service vault and we created virtual machine, and we started the backup also, uh, backing up the existing VM to the same region. But now we will go ahead and create a recovery service vault in the secondary region where the replication will happen to the secondary region from primary. So let's create recovery service vault for in the secondary region. Let me go here. Recovery service vault. This is central US. I'll create recovery service vault in another region. Tech lines, I'll say West US, and I will select West US. Create. Now now I created one recovery service vault in the West US region. So this recovery service vault will have its own configuration and everything for that region, for the West US region. One recovery service vault we have created in the primary region, that is a central US, and one recovery service vault is in the secondary region, that is a West US. And let's do some configuration on that. So what it says next, let's create, yeah, we have created that, and okay, we need to enable the replication for this VM to the secondary region. We'll go back to the VM. There we get the option to enable uh, configure the recovery and backup. Where is this? So we have this option for VM under backup plus disaster recovery. So once you click on disaster recovery, you get this basics wizard. And so this VM is in Central US and my recovery service vault is in West US. I will select West US. In the map, you can see the primary region, Central US, it is showing, and the secondary region, it is showing it in a different color. That is the West US. So this is primary, this is secondary. If I change the region here, it will change again, UK South. So this will be the secondary region, West US, so West India. So the point is changing, the secondary region point is changing. So this is where we are selecting what is your failover point. Now that I want to keep my secondary region in West US, I need to select that. I've selected that. Next, advanced settings. RGSR proximity we can select. And this is something we need to create automation account, which will be used for replication. First, we need to create this, or else it won't allow us to create the replication. Come back to recovery service vault, and I should be able to see another one.
It's in deployment stage.
Yeah. So we have done all the steps till here, enable replication. Then once the replication is completed, search for and locate your recovery service vault. This will be the recovery service vault. And in the protected items, select a replicated items. Check the virtual machine is showing as healthy for the replicated health. Note that the status will show the synchronization starting at 0% protected after. So basically this all we can see once this ASR in the region 2 is uh, up, and we can see um, the replication is happening from the primary to the secondary region, and this is sitting in the recovery service vault. As we are configuring this for the first time, right? So what happens? This part, especially this part, which is showing in part point 12, this takes like 30 minutes to replicate to for the initial replication.
Yeah, usually it depends on the size of VM. So
Yes. Yeah. Eh,
size and the time frame between the both data centers and the speed which we choose, it depends on a lot of scenarios there.
yeah. So that's all we have. It might take some time. So this is about Azure Site Recovery. We'll be
Okay.
configuring this Azure Site Recovery like this using site recovery service vaults and backups. And we have also seen how we can enable monitoring, save the logs to the storage, all these things. So there will be some questions they will ask about Azure Site Recovery. Like one thing is about RTO, RPO, they will ask. And for all items, we cannot configure this Azure Site Recovery, especially for VMs or on-premise VMs or like that, we will be able to configure. So that's about Azure Site Recovery. Okay, and this is